As much as some fans claim that Sam and Dean have changed a lot through the years, their dynamic has remained far too much the same to be called character development, as can be seen in this episode. Dean still is determined to set himself on fire to keep Sam warm, and Sam still doesn't fully comprehend that Dean sees him far more as Sam's parent than brother. This hasn't gotten through Sam's head because the writers haven't allowed him to see what has been obvious to us, the audience, since all the way back in season 2 when Dean sold his soul for him. Another thing that hasn't gotten through Sam's head is just how profoundly low Dean's opinion is of himself. Another thing that was established all the way back in All Hell Breaks Loose when Bobby asked in that pained voice, Lord, I miss Bobby, have you got that low of an opinion of yourself? This is something that Dean hasn't developed or grown past, thinking he's essentially worthless. So for the boys, it's just an endless cycle of the same crap for them. Overall, this episode was okay, I'd say. I like the callbacks with Loki eating the candy and him and his kids needing to be killed by wooden stakes. I also liked the callback to the magic fingers joke, which isn't a bad chestnut to dust off since it was done in a pretty clever way. I appreciated that. The Quentin Tarantino-esque style of the episode is, I'm actually not a big Tarantino fan, honestly, but I do enjoy his aesthetic and I understand it. And the show doing callbacks to that did it pretty effectively, did an homage to that pretty effectively. So it is something that I understood and enjoyed for what it was. And of course, the focus in this episode is Gabriel, who is out for revenge against Loki and starts off the episode making his own revenge theme song on a kazoo, which was awesome. Like in past episodes, it seems like this show is subtly playing with Sabriel, like how Gabriel saved Sam when Dean was able to save himself, and then later on Gabriel kind of flirts with Sam. I think this is mostly there for fan service, which I don't mind since Sabriel fans have had almost no canon moments until only a few episodes ago, so the show giving this to them is pretty nice. I also like how Loki, then to go back to talking about Gabriel, I like how Loki at the end of the episode taunted Gabriel about his pain over his messed up family, and then, him not being able to take it and running away from Lucifer and Michael. It's just solid character writing for Gabriel, and that was nice. And of course, as always, I have to point out the inconsistencies, or at least vagueness, in the canon, like, does Grace actually recharge? Because Gabriel made it seem like that was the case with him. Or is this just an Archangel thing? Would Castiel's grace have eventually come back to him? Because that was like such a big deal in season 9 that it seemed like grace was this finite thing. What's up with that? So Gabriel obviously had to take a vessel because that's how an angel is able to move around the earth and interact with humans. So his original vessel's face was different from Loki's, right? Or was it the same? Did Loki take on the image of Gabriel's vessel for himself? Because that's not what the writing made it seem like that was the case. Or can Gabriel change the face of his vessel? Do any other angels have this power? How is Gabriel able to still maintain that face after, I presume, hundreds, if not thousands of years? So if Gabriel was with Asmodeus this whole time, why didn't Asmodeus make a power move before the 13th season? I know the real answer is because the writing staff hadn't made him up yet, but in show, there's no answer. No good answer, anyway. We also got scenes of Jack and Mary in Apocalypse Land that had nothing at all to do with Gabriel's plot, but I guess we still need to know what was going on there. I liked Not Kevin quite a bit, if only for Osric's truly unhinged performance. Even without seeing any of this character's story, I completely empathized with him and felt just so bad for him from his performance alone and especially his monologue. It was a really great monologue and a really great performance, and this would not have worked with a lesser actor. So clap clap for Osric. Poor Jack, having lost all of the other people in his resistance except Mary, even though it really wasn't much of a loss for us, since all of those other guys had your standard red shirt development. It will move Jack's character forward, though. I know some people have some strong feelings about Mary, and some people really don't like her and think she's a shitty mom in person, but I've always managed to have at least some sympathy and understanding for her. However, I did roll my eyes in this episode when she said she's lost too much. It's like, no, Mary, you're the one who's done the leaving versus having things taken from you. No, she didn't choose to die, but she, of course, did make the deal with Azazel in the first place, which caused her death. And then when she finally came back to Sam and Dean, who tried so hard to carve out a piece of their lives for her to fit in, she ditched them instead, saying it was too hard for her. She didn't even try to make a relationship work with them. If you want to stop losing things, Mary, maybe you should make better choices and stop running away. Sayonara and Auf Wiedersehen.